Hey everybody, this is Grace, and we are, guess where? Yep. It's actually they changed the name, or they fixed the name. No, it still says Cajun Boil Stop, but I think it's, well, it still says it on the door, Cajun Boil Stop, but online it says something like, years ago it did, boiling pots. Cajun boiling pots. So they decided to go one way or the other, I guess. Anyway, because they got new management, I think. But it's pretty good food, or at least it was. So we'll see. Each thing that we eat, I usually get catfish, and he usually gets shrimp. And this time I got some red beans and rice, and I'm going to see how that is. I don't like this trend that these places are having here. This is Texas. This isn't Louisiana, by the way. But the trend here is to change to black beans. Gross. Pinto beans, okay? Pinto beans. It has to be what it has to be pinto beans, but they're changing from pinto beans to black beans. Black beans to me were very dry. Just very dry. So it could be the place that cooked them. Yeah. Anyway, this is what we're getting. He had looked this over. They're doing catfish boil. Crawfish boil. Why do I keep saying catfish? I don't know. But I'm getting catfish and the red beans. He's getting his usual and something else, maybe. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, today is July 3rd, the day before 4th of July. And they usually close down. There's a nature preserve, and there's all these other places all around. And they close it down because they have fireworks out there, and so many people come to this firework display. And I don't know I don't really know exactly which one they do. The nature, I wouldn't think the nature preserve. But, somewhere around here they do the fireworks from, and they have to shut down so many roads. Of course, we live near there. So we try to get whatever we need to do before the 4th, because it's going to be probably a good chunk of the day and the night. And this is just a kind of vlog rambling. And I'm looking over here and I'm like, what is around that? I guess it's lights. You see? I guess that's what it is. At night they have 3 different ones. Yeah. We've never eaten in there, by the way. Yeah. We just get to go home. And I walked in and I asked the woman, because I was telling Adam that I wanted to try to see if they, I wanted to see if they had any etouffee. And the woman looked at me and she said, "What?" And I said, I thought maybe she just didn't understand me. Maybe I pronounced it wrong, or there's a different way she would pronounce it. But it's etouffee. And she looked at me, she said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, if you don't know what it is, then you probably don't have it." I didn't say it mean. And she says, "No, I'm just kind of curious, what is it?" And then she told me that she doesn't eat seafood. Well, this is Cajun food. Yeah, it's Cajun seafood, no. But he was wanting, he said he wanted to try something different, so I started singing the song Jambalaya to him. Okay. But he said, "Yeah, that's good," because I make jambalaya myself. Sometimes. That's something I got to remember. Yeah. But I grew up near Louisiana. I grew up in Texas, but near enough to Louisiana that it was common for people to eat Cajun food. Not so much Creole, but Cajun. And I never really learned the difference between Cajun and Creole. So maybe I'm wrong. maybe we had both. And I knew two women who were Cajuns. They were elderly women back then, and they were friends with one another. And they spoke Cajun. My grandmother now, spoke French, so I learned a little bit of French. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling. This is just something good every once in a while to ramble. But they didn't have any, and I don't think, I looked at their menu and I'm like, they should have some of this stuff. They have some gumbo. And I asked, I said, have they changed it? When we got it before, because, they changed management. She goes, I don't know. And and I hope that they would. And when I told her, I said, I hope they did. It wasn't any good. And it really wasn't. It was like they had a whole bunch of rice put in a cup, like a pint, maybe not even that big, but a whole bunch of rice, a big old scoops rice, and then just a little bit of gumbo around it that was really thick. No. And speaking of gumbo, I only know one person who makes gumbo right, and that's one of my sisters, and she had owned her own restaurant. They served home-style Cajun, Tex-Mex, and she doesn't have any more, but she's the only person that makes it right, and it's really thin. It's not this thick crap. That's what they did with it. It was this thick stuff, and it just tastes like flour. Okay, flour. It doesn't have the, and I can't find it anymore. In places around here, they don't have it. We're too far away, I guess, from Louisiana. Like I said, I grew up influenced by it because of where I grew up. But I was never one to eat crawfish, never. I remember, like I said, where I grew up, we had flooding one time, and I was 16, I think. Yeah, 16. And, I did that thing at school where it was VOC or something like that, which stands for, I guess, vocational. But people would do that, their junior and senior year in school, and they would get credit for it. And then my junior year, I had to go to school the whole day, but in my senior year, it was half a day. And I think it was when I was 16. I was 16 and 17 those years. But when I was 16, we had a flood and it was raining real bad and all this. And the woman and her husband, her husband was the owner's son. They were older, probably about 10 years. They drove me home, and they had a truck. And we went, they were driving me home so nobody would have to come pick me up, so I wouldn't have to drive because I was so young and all this stuff. Okay, they're not going. Okay, there were some people. But they would drive me home because they had a truck and all this kind of stuff. Well, we got to a certain point and the truck flooded. The water was flooded. Waters were too high, and they had to stop, I don't think it got flooded, but I think that they had to stop, and we had to walk. Oh my goodness. Talk about, you want to see some crawfish? See, because part of it, here's somebody else. Okay. Part of it was, like, they weren't ditches, like they didn't have anything in them, but it was for drainage. And that's where these crawfish would hang out. They would have enough water, like year-round or something, and they would hang out there. So, yeah, that's my crawfish story. And I never eat it. I've never eaten it, and I don't care to. I'm not a fan of, I don't even like lobster. I don't even want to eat lobster. I don't want to eat crawfish or anything. Really. I mean, I'll eat shrimp, but that's about the closest. That's just every blue moon. I'll eat it if it's already heads and tails off. So, usually that's what I do. But anyway, they said they got crawfish boiled, Cajun crab. I don't eat crab. Cajun shrimp and seafood boil. I wonder what the Cajun shrimp would be like. But I remember also, oh, here comes somebody else, and I'm not putting it in. Okay, the people that are walking by, they're kind of sketchy looking. You know, this is not known to be the best area in town. But anyway, I was about to say something, but that was very distracting. He's kind of scary. That guy was really scary. So anyway, it distracted me. But I've got stories. I mean, I could talk about this one place that we went to when I was a kid, and my dad liked to go out there and go fishing. You know, I grew up fishing. Okay, we go fishing, and it was a bayou. Okay, and I mean, to this day, I don't know enough about all these things to really talk about them. We just go to them. You know, I was a kid, and but I do remember it had a dam there, and realized at some point I realized, you know, as a kid, how dangerous it was that we were out there. You know, me and one of my sisters, the one that had the restaurant, we're really close in age. She's like 15 months older than I, 15 months. And we would go and run off, and well, she would run off, and I would run off and make sure she wasn't getting in trouble. That's the story of our lives when we were together. She get in trouble, and I'd almost get in trouble. I'd save her from it. And I remember when our dad threw us in a pool when we were kids, and he says, "Sink or swim." I swam, she sunk. So, and I had to jump and try to help my dad get her out of there. Yeah, the difference was so different. But we would be out of that bayou, and like I said, I don't know what you call it, where the dam was and all this, but this is wooden now, and then people would walk across or something like that, and just these wood pieces of wood, whatever, out there fishing. I don't know why he thought that would be smart. To bring she and I don't know about the other siblings. Usually she and I were, you know, like I said, I was watching, make sure she didn't get in trouble or get hurt or whatever. And that was too much responsibility for a kid. Anyway. Okay, but anyway, I mean, some of that stuff is so long ago for me. You know, I lived there so long ago. It was in Texas. Like I said, I grew up in Texas, the Texas side. And I mean, that was when I was I got the heck out of Dodge, as I said, when I was 18. I lived there more than once since then, but it's been, I don't know how long since I lived there the last time. And it just never got much into that. Well, I did. It didn't. The food was great. Oh, I'll tell you that. Cajun food I really like, but I didn't know etouffee until it was after I was 20. Okay, this is freaking me so. Oh, I'm telling you, it's not the best neighborhood. Really is not the best part of the town. And if he would have got any closer to my car, he would have heard me. Okay. Went in there and they came back out. I don't know, maybe they're lost. But anyway. You know, so anyway, we had a lot of influence by Louisiana, but oh my goodness, what is here? It's just everybody. Okay, it's much later in the day. It's 7:09 p.m. July 3rd, 2025, and we came home and ate that food, and I didn't know that, but he got a catfish meal also, And that shrimp, well, the shrimp's still in the refrigerator, uneaten, and it was strong. Man, when he brought it out, my whole SUV just smelled like the spice they put on it, like they do on a crawfish bowl or any of that. And man, it's strong. It was a good food. I didn't finish mine. My catfish big. I took a picture, but it looked smaller because I didn't have enough room on the island to spread it all out, and I was trying to get it away from one of my dogs before she tried to get it. I just took it in the bag. I took the picture, but it makes the fillets look small, but they were big. Yeah, big catfish fillets, and it was good. And after that, I went in the front room, watched TV, and as usual, I fell asleep. But I've been watching Doc Martin. I almost finished with it. I like that show. Now I don't know what I'm going to watch, but next. But yeah, woke up and then I had this something I haven't had in a long time, and that was a sudden energy. But I had missed one of my pills this morning, and that one I know causes tiredness. And I read somewhere, some doctor thing said to take it in the before bed, and I've been taking it in the morning. So I said this morning I just miss it and start taking it tonight. And I took it just now, so it's 7 o'clock. But that's close enough. But that energy, having energy again, man, to do something. You know what I did? I went through this is serious now. I went through mail that I had collected, and I never opened it. And some of them went back to, I think, 2023, if not before. But there might have been something thrown in there from earlier. But most of it was 2024 and this year. Not much this year. So I guess, I might get something opened up and put it wherever. But I'm gathering stuff to take to the to get my license renewed, you know. And I asked Adam. He said he doesn't remember having anything. So I'm gonna see how it goes. I just I don't like to be negative, but I've been around enough. I've been around long enough to know that not much runs smoothly in my life, and I don't believe in jinx lives and stuff like that. But people who know me and have been there when things happen, they say, "You got a jinx life, girl." And I'm like, I just don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in all that. So it just happens. It's just coincidental. But anyway, I came out here to wrap this video up and maybe start another one. And the weather outside, you can see it. We had so much rain that I think the crepe myrtles were already losing their flower, the flowers on them. I don't know, but I don't know because we had a bunch of really strong wind, and all this stuff fell off, and not all of it, but you see, not as much as it usually has. And then we had the really hard rain for hours. Came out here, and was it yesterday morning or the morning before? It was just, you could see all of it on the ground. So, oh well. They come back. Year after year. Anyway, what else? I was going to talk about something else. So, I don't know. I think that's enough. Talk to y'all in another video.
Good.